Milky Way the story. The first time Ethan Varro stepped onto the crystalline soil of Aurelia, he felt the world hum beneath his boots. The planet shimmered in pastel blues and soft golds, the air itself seeming to glow. It was a place humans had admired from a distance for years, beautiful, mysterious, and notoriously unwelcoming to outsiders. Aurelians were powerful, telepathically gifted, and fiercely protective of their royal lineage. Humans were tolerated on the outskirts of their trading colonies, but no more, which made Ethan's presence in the Royal Citadel of Lysera nothing short of political blasphemy. But Ethan wasn't here for diplomacy. He wasn't here for exploration. He was here because of her. Princess Lysera Valen, the silver-haired heir to the throne, the woman who had single-handedly broken centuries of political custom, and Ethan's idea of reality. A princess known for her icy composure, her unmatched telekinesis, and her rigid loyalty to Aurelia's traditions. Nothing about her seemed the type to approach a human, let alone speak to one. Yet somehow she had chosen him. And today, Ethan had to meet her mother. Not just any mother. Queen Maelira Valen, ruler of Aurelia, one of the most powerful telepaths in the galaxy, and the woman whose disapproval could erase Ethan from existence with a single flick of her hand. The queen who expected anything but this. The royal hall was carved from iridescent crystal that glowed faintly with the pulse of the planet. A line of armored guards stood silent as Ethan walked forward, each of them watching him with distrust bordering on disgust. Ethan swallowed hard. Lysera's hand brushed his. Silent reassurance. For a moment, her telepathic warmth flickered through him. Her thoughts, her steadiness, her absolute certainty in the man beside her. "Do not fear," her voice whispered in his mind. "I walk with you," he exhaled. At the far end of the hall, seated on a throne sculpted from living crystal, was Queen Maelira herself. Elegant, silver-skinned, as like starfire. She was beautiful, but in a way that made Ethan feel like he was staring at something divine, something meant only to be admired from afar. Her gaze locked onto Lysera first, then onto Ethan, and that was when her entire body jolted. Her fingers tightened against her scepter. Her breath stopped. Her eyes widened. The glow surrounding her faltered. It was the first time Ethan had ever seen a monarch lose control so completely. A ripple of gasps spread among the court nobles. The guards shifted. A telepathic shockwave of disbelief rolled through the room. The queen stood abruptly. "Lysera," she said, voice sharp with disbelief. Why is there a human at your side? In my hall, standing within the royal line's ceremonial path." Lysera lifted her chin. She was calm, regal, unshaken. "Mother, this is Ethan Varro." Her fingers subtly intertwined with his. "I have chosen him." A collective gasp echoed through the crystal hall like a storm. The queen's breath visibly hitched. "You chose a human." Her voice sounded like someone struggling to stay upright in the middle of an earthquake. "Mother," Lysera tried again, "if you will just—" "No," the queen whispered. "No, this cannot be real." Her knees buckled for a moment, only for her to catch herself on the throne's arm. Even a guard rushed forward, but she waved him off, forcing herself straight. The queen stared at Ethan like he was a ghost invading her palace. Or worse, a threat to her bloodline. Too. When the queen demanded answers, the hall was evacuated within minutes at the queen's command. Only guards remained on standby. Ethan stood in the silence, heart pounding, as Queen Maelira descended the steps of her throne with slow, measured steps. Lysera stayed close, protective, not something the queen failed to notice. Maelira studied her daughter, then Ethan. "You cannot bond with him," she said plainly. "A human mind is too fragile. Human body too weak. Human lifespan too short. It is beneath your station." Lysera remained composed. "Mother, I have already." "Do not say it," the queen warned sharply. "Do not tell me you bonded." Ethan didn't fully understand the significance, but he knew enough. Aurelian bonding wasn't dating. It wasn't romance. It was a psychic merging so deep that emotions, instincts, and life force itself intertwined. A bond was permanent. And dangerous. Lysera stepped forward. "He is stronger than you assume. He is human." Maelira snapped, losing her royal poise again. "Do you expect him to survive the royal joining rites? The psychic resonance trials? The emotional merge?" Lysera only said, "Yes." The queen stared at her daughter, at the defiant certainty in her voice. Then her gaze snapped to Ethan. "Speak," she commanded. "Why do you stand beside my heir? Do you understand what she risks?" Ethan swallowed hard. "I do," he said. "And I'm willing to risk myself too." The queen glared. "You risk nothing. You lose yourself, your memories, your identity. You will never be merely human again." "I know. And yet you still choose this path." Ethan nodded. "Because I choose her." Lysera's breath caught. A shimmer of emotion brushed his mind. Gratitude, affection, something deeper and unspoken. Queen saw it. She stiffened again, visibly affected by the sight of their connection. She turned away sharply. This is impossible," she murmured to herself. "My daughter. My only heir. Bonding with a human." 3. When traditions became weapons. Queen Maelira gathered the High Council within the hour. Ethan stayed at Lysera's side as nobles whispered and pointed, some openly disgusted, others merely curious. The council chamber's walls flickered with psychic light. Aurelians conversed telepathically as often as verbally, and Ethan felt their emotions brushing his mind. Suspicion, hostility, alarm. The queen stood at the head of the chamber. "My daughter claims she has bonded with a human," she announced. Every noble erupted with psychic noise. A whirlwind of thoughts struck Ethan. So many at once he staggered. Lysera caught his elbow, steadying him, shielding him with her mind. Silence fell only when Maelira raised her hand. "This breaks ancient tradition," said Counselor the Lin. "A human cannot join the royal line. His DNA is incompatible with the throne's psychic resonance." "His mind will shatter," said another. "He could kill the princess without meaning to," murmured a third. The queen listened, her eyes focused on Ethan, the human who had sent her entire political structure into chaos. Lysera finally spoke. "Enough. Ethan has already passed the preliminary resonance test." Even the queen froze. "He has what?" Maelira demanded. Lysera gestured gently toward Ethan. "Mother, you felt it when you saw us. You sensed the connection. He survived the resonance wave I cast earlier. No human could have withstood that unaided." The queen stared in disbelief. "You tested him without my permission." "I tested my bondmate," Lysera corrected, voice firm. The queen was shaken again. It showed in the way she blinked too fast, as though trying to reorder reality. "Bring forth the resonance stone," Maelira announced suddenly. Ethan's throat tightened. Lysera squeezed his hand. "Ethan," she whispered telepathically, "do not fear. I stand with you." 4. The test that should have broken him. The resonance stone pulsed with a living, crystalline glow. It had tested royal suitors for centuries. Even full-blooded Aurelians failed it routinely. It probed a person's inner psyche, their fears, their doubts, their deepest truths.